Good evening, Bios Baptist Church, and welcome back to Bios Baptist Church News Reports. Today, we are bringing to you a special report. So, Bios Baptist Church is attempting many large meetings due to the fact of many unsubscribers on YouTube. The reason being is Bios Baptist Church is contemplating the closure of some of its departments for the Christmas season, and most likely the extended closure of more than half of its church due to lack of staff and lack of congregation participation. What we notice going on here is during the past 6 months, we have had a lot of employee lost. We have had a lot of congregation members not showing up to church. Our weekly Sunday service attendance has dropped. When BIOS was first instated last year in 2016, 2017, the weekly attendance rate was approximately 40 persons per week. And then now we were lucky if we were to make it to 10 persons per week at the end of the week. We have to be very grateful for that, because that's the maximum. But the average is 1 or 2. Nobody's watching or participating in the live classes. Very rarely you have participation. In order to create a vibe that there is actually any fun in the church, the teachers actually, they have to make up fun jokes or pretend that there's people in the class, make up names in the classes, or actually rewatch the videos themselves just to get views into the class. Anybody who works at BIOS, they're overstretched. The amount of responsibility that it carries due to the fact of having so many departments, so little teachers, it's just overbearing. The most amount of work that one person has to do at any one time, the shifts are 16 hours long for Pastor Sinclair, due to the fact that there are so many departments that needs to be maintained. Because anytime you open a department, you have to maintain it. It cannot be left unmaintained. And what happens is, the people who are at that current date and time, they have to maintain the church. And you have the 4 staff members that are currently there and active, jumping from one department to another, running the entire church. And it is just overwhelming. We have 4 staff members who were hired last year, a year ago. They are not active. Now, I know life takes a toll and you are busy, things change, things happen, but things are really going down around here in BIOS. This is not a temporary church. I don't know who sent that memo out that BIOS was just gonna start for some years. Some people even looked at this and said, they're still open. Why is this church still open? BIOS is not a temporary church. I mean, we are not a temporary church. We are supposed to still be flowing. We're supposed to still have the consistent flow that any church is supposed to have. because BIOS is permanent. So what we want to do is we want to have more volunteer positions. We want to have more people to come in and work here. Now the shift work is not long because we have people who are already here doing most of it. But it's broken up. It's already broken up. We need people to book the rooms. We need people to print off the tickets, keep them. We need people to teach classes. Believe it or not, we're supposed to have all these youth classes that you are seeing on YouTube that goes on every single day. Each class that you're seeing during the weekday is supposed to be taught by a different person each. They're all being taught by the same person. All the construction work at BIOS is being behind because one person is doing everything. In the emergency department, one person is writing all the orders, one person is maintaining the website. So things get behind, and when things do get behind, it doesn't work. So please do not be angry when we have to cut back the church. Please do not keep on disappearing on us when we are not able to meet your needs, because we cannot meet the needs of a community with only 2 staff members, because that's the amount of active staff members we have right now. We only have 2 getting ready to be 1 staff member. We do not need people flowing out of this church and nobody coming in. Give us a break. Because every day we work hard to put the word of God on the table. Every single day. No other church on the face of the planet is going to do this every single day. They do Sundays, they do Wednesdays, Mondays, Tuesdays, you need them, they're not there. They don't supply your need every day. And no church is going to be available for you to call them in the middle of the night. We're open in the middle of the night. We're open 24 hours of the day. And no church is going to open or offer across the board services. Free tutoring. Which church is offering free tutoring? Which church is going to give you all these free services? You need to be thanking God for BIOS Baptist Church. Because all these free stuff, you can't get it anywhere else. And if you do get it somewhere else, the people aren't as compassionate as they are here. And I know there's only going to get ready to be 1 active staff member, but we need help. It's important. Because guess what? Pastor Sinclair, speaking of it, the work, the amount of work that needs to be done has taken a serious toll in the past 2 years. I had to give up my entire personal life for this church. Nobody else is going to do that. I am there for this church all the way. Nobody else is going to do that. If you want a church with full support, BIOS is the only place to come. If you're into partiality and all that, then you could go someplace else. But if you want somebody with full support, knowledge, education, theology, and round-the-clock help anytime you need it, BIOS is the place to come. Love, caringness, BIOS is the place to come. But you're not going to be able to get it much longer if you're building a highway that's leading out the nearest exit. We've had 18 unsubscribers from our YouTube channel in the past year. 18 of them. 18. We've had over 100 haters comments on our YouTube channel in the past year. Hundreds. And you think that's going to help the church to grow? If we are spending all of our time in our security department typing and blocking people for haters comments, for all sorts of things, everything under the sun, haters comments, unsubscribing,